Hey friend, are you looking to spice up your chord progressions and make them a little bit more interesting? Today I want to give you 5 different ideas to take a basic chord progression and make it hipper and more interesting and perhaps even amazing. Let's jump in. All right, before we get started, I want to encourage you to download my free 5-step great guitar tone checklist. What this is a guide that will help you get great guitar tones using your own current gear. You can get that by clicking the link in the description below. All right, so the first idea that you can use to improve your chord progressions is to use inversions. So we're going to take a basic chord progression, just 3 chords, okay, in the key of A, a 1, 5, 4. So it goes like this. So super basic chord progression. So using inversions, we can make that more interesting. An inversion is basically the same notes within a chord, but you're mixing them up. You're putting the 3rd on the bottom or the 5th on the bottoms. All right, so let's try that. Same chords. Okay, so all the same chords, but just different inversions. Now you could also change up the bass notes of the inversions. So let's try that again. So I just kind of did like a walking bass line down based on whatever chord it was with using that inversion. All right, so the second idea is to use fills with your chord progressions. So a fill would be some sort of filler notes in between chords. All right, so an idea maybe Hendrix would have done is something like this. You can also use pentatonic fills. So if you're in a major key, obviously you'd use a major pentatonic. If you're in a minor key, you'd use a minor pentatonic. So we're in major here. So we could use something like this. The third idea is to use 7th chords or even 9th chords or 11th chords. These can really spice up your chord progression. So let's just try some 7th chords within this key. We're going to add a 7th to each chord. Okay, let's try a 9th chord. How about you could also use sus chords, which is what that basically was. So that's an idea there. All right, so another idea is to use borrowed chords. This is one of my favorite concepts where you borrow a chord from either the key itself or a key outside the key you're in. So let's try the key, we call that a diatonic chord. So typically you can substitute like a 6 chord for a 1 chord, or a 2 chord for a 4 chord, or even a 3 chord for a 5 chord. So let's just try that. Let's try to substitute a 6 chord for the 1 chord. So instead of using A, we're going to use F sharp minor. Okay, how about doing a 2 chord in place of the 4 chord? Gives it a little bit more of a modern kind of tone. Let's try a 3 chord in place of the 5 chord. What would that be? C sharp minor. Okay. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, that sounds nice. Even with the 4 major 7, that sounds kind of cool. Let's try a non-diatonic chord. So typically with a non-diatonic chord, I like to substitute the parallel minor. So that means if I'm in the key of A major, I'll substitute a chord from the key of A minor. So let's try that first using maybe the 4 minor. So for an A, typically this might sound better if I did 4 major to 4 minor. So kind of gives it a bittersweet sound to it. Another one that's kind of neat is 5 minor 7. So totally different sound, just changing one note by altering that 5 major to a 5 minor. Kind of sounds really neat. All right, so the 5th idea is to use a melody. So the melody I'm kind of hearing is this for this chord progression. Da 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 da. So it kind of stays with the rhythm of the tune, but now we can use different voicings to get that progression. Okay, so I hope you found some inspiration in that. Please leave a comment in the description below. Let me know what you think, how you approach chord progressions, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.